Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to do this brief update just to let you all know how we're doing since we had to have Chester put down last week. It's been an extremely difficult week for us, as you can probably imagine. None of us have really been ourselves, which is to be expected. The boys have been okay, just a bit quiet really. Neil's been just getting on with things pretty normally, just going to work and what have you. And I've just been trying to just get on with things as well, the best that I can. Yeah, it's not been easy at all, and I think it's gonna be a long time, a really long time before we actually come to terms with this. Losing an animal is by far one of the most horrendous things, I think, emotionally, that you can go through, that you can experience. Obviously depending on the relationship you had with the animal, how long you had them and what they meant to you, things like that. But then again, even if you just had them for a short time, you tend to fall in love with them pretty much straight away. So it's still a devastating loss when they leave unexpectedly. Chester was far more than just a dog to us, as all of you would understand who've got dogs and cats and animals as well. He was a member of our family, and I just never really expected him to die. When I knew he was losing weight, of course, it concerned me greatly, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it, obviously for his benefit, because that wasn't normal. Something was definitely not right with him. But I just expected it to be something simple like diabetes, thyroid, like I said before, or just, just something really simple. I never expected him to have a tumour on his spleen, which was really the most cruelest thing that could ever have happened to him. I was just absolutely just devastated when they told us that. I just couldn't believe it. It was just like being smacked in the face by a meteorite, basically. It just knocked me off my feet. And I think that is so hard to deal with when you're told news like that. It's, what do I do with that? There's no way forward with that. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing the vet can do. There is only one outcome. And yeah, it just absolutely just tore me apart. And I've just been sort of in a fog really ever since. Every day's just been like agony. I wake up every day expecting to see him and he's not there. The hardest thing I think is like with the other dogs, seeing all of them and knowing one's missing. And I kept expecting him to run in through the back door, with his tail between his legs and start barking at me the way he used to. So he'd say, "Come on, Mum, I want my breakfast now." But, when I let them all in, I still find myself wandering out on the garden thinking, "Where's Chester?" And suddenly it clicks, he's, oh my God, he's gone, which is really devastating. And then other things like when I'm doing their feeds, you know, there's only 5 bowls now, you know, and Chester's is Henry. That is really hard. Even now, that is really hard, and I think that will be hard for a long, long time. And also his bed, you know, when I walk past his bed and it's empty, I mean, that's soul destroying. That is, it's crushing, absolutely crushing. And his lead and his collar are hung up out the back. I have actually put them in his bed now. I've sealed off his bed from the other dogs so they can't go in it anymore, because that's Chester's bed. I've put his bowl and his lead and his collar in there. And we are going to put a little memorial by his bed, have some photographs and some candles and things to honour him and to keep his memory alive. And we also want to do a little memorial in the garden for him as well. I've also put one of the tables in my living room to the corner, and I'm going to put some bits and bobs on there for him as well. We've had a canvas picture done of him, which I've hung on the wall, which overlooks the table in the living room, so that will be Chester's little corner where I'm going to put a few little bits and bobs for him there. Yeah, it's I don't know what to say, to be honest to you guys. I mean, I'm sure you understand if you've lost a pet yourself. It's just awful. There's no words. I don't have any words. Every night I go to bed and I cry myself to sleep, you know, because I'm missing him that much. And they say time's a healer, but you know what? For me, I don't think it is. I think really with grief, and everyone's different, you know, I'm not saying this is for everybody, this is just for me, that time really is just that. It's just time, you know. I think that you come to live with it, and that's it. You know, you accept it and you carry on, but the pain never really goes away. It's always there. You just learn to deal with it, one day at a time. Some days you have days where you're absolutely fine, and then other days you're just a blubbering mess. I mean, I'll tell you a little story. I went into Morrison's the other day. I shouldn't have gone out really, but you know what it's like, family life, and 3 boys, they eat me out of house and home. I had to pop to Morrison's to get a few bits. I was absolutely fine. Nothing really triggered it. I wasn't thinking about him at that particular moment. Came to pay for my shopping and I just completely lost it. So embarrassing, honestly. But I wasn't bothered about being embarrassed. I just couldn't stop. The tears were coming and that was it. I'm sorry. Apologies. Did mean to put a disclaimer in that this may get a bit emotional for me. It may be a bit upsetting for people, so if you don't like people being emotional, just fast forward it to the end. I do apologise, but it's still really, really raw, and I just have it in waves. It tends to come in waves every now and again, and yeah, it's just horrible. But like I was saying, I was in Morrison's and it just came out of the blue, and I felt so sort of uncomfortable, you know. And of all the places, a public place, I mean, it's just what you don't need, isn't it? You know, with a queue full of people waiting to pay for the shopping, and they've got some woman who's just an absolute, you know, bawling her eyes out, and everyone's staring at her. Oh my God, it was awful. I don't know what to do, but it just completely just came out of nowhere, and I was just absolute blubbering mess all the way back to the car. I just literally just threw the shopping in the car, got in the car and just let it go, you know. I was just, oh my God, it really hit me hard that day. That was only a couple of days ago. I mean, it's only been, what, 9 days since we had Chester put to sleep. Another thing is that his ashes were delivered to us this morning, and I have to say that the company that took care of it have been absolutely phenomenal. So respectful, so wonderful, absolutely brilliant. CPC were the people that cremated him for us. He's downstairs. I've popped him in the one corner in the living room where I'm going to have all these bits and bobs, so that's where he'll stay. I want this video to be in memory of him, and also talk a little bit about what we've been going through and what we've been feeling, and how we've been. But like I said, it's been one of the most difficult things I've ever been through in my life. And my son said to me the other day, Mom, you know, get used to it, because you've got 5 other dogs and you're going to have to go through all with them as well. And yeah, he's right about that. But who knows what's around the corner? None of us know what's going to happen. Maybe I'll go before them. You don't know, do you? You just don't know. I mean, life is one of those things that we have no control over. Things happen when they want to happen, no matter what we're going through, no matter what kind of person we are, it just happens. You know, you can be the nicest person in the world, bend over backwards for everybody, and rubbish still happens to you. And yet you could be the meanest person, and, you know, stuff probably doesn't happen to you all that often. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that, you know, death comes to us all, and in a lot of ways it's very, very unfair, very unexpected, and very cruel. Chester came to us 12 years ago. He was the product of when I had Honey as a puppy and I had Henry as well. When they came together, Neil and I said, oh, it'd be lovely for them to have puppies, and they did. They had Chester, Lily and Harley, absolutely 3 beautiful puppies. My mum had Lily, my friend had Harley, and we kept Chester. So he's more than just, you know, a dog to us and a member of the family. We actually, you know, we created the circumstances for him to be conceived, and he was born in this house. He lived in this house. Unfortunately, he did not die in this house. As you know, we had to take him to the vet, but he spent his life here with us, with his family. And after Honey had that litter, a couple of years later, she had another litter of puppies, and that's how we had Patch, which is Chester's half brother. Then after that, I went back to the breeder on my birthday and got Ruby, which Ruby was, like I said, she's not blood related to any of the others, but Ruby's mum was Honey's sister. So there might be a little bit of blood there, I'm not sure. But both Honey and Ruby came from the same breeder. So then I had Ruby, and then a friend of mine, her dog Poppy, she wanted her to have puppies. So she asked me if Patch could be the stud dog for her. I said yes. And then her dog had a litter of puppies, and that's how we got Lucy. So that's our doggy family. Each one of them is extremely special to us. They are part of the family. They are the children I never had. And I love and absolutely dote on every single one of them. It's really difficult now, though, to go through every day not having Chester around. Is the last thing I think of at night and the first thing I think of every morning. And I know some people say over time it will get less and less and less. Truth is, I don't want it to. I don't want that. I don't want to think of him any less as time goes on. I want to think of him every day. I want to see him every day, you know, and that's why we had him cremated, because I want him at home where he belongs with us. I could have had him buried in the garden. We did talk about that. But the thing is, when you've got other dogs, I didn't want the other dogs digging him up and bringing parts of him into the house. I mean, it's devastating enough having, you know, you lose your pet that you love so much, then one of the other dogs bringing his arms and legs in. Oh my God. You know, I just didn't want that. And I just didn't like the thought of him being, you know, sentimental me, being outside in the dirt, in the cold, in the damp, with the worms around him. You know, that's just not for me. I wanted it done more sort of, you know, respectfully for him, you know, to have him in the house, in the warm, with his family, surrounded by all of us who absolutely loved him to bits. And when we could see him every day, I know it's obviously not in the physical form, but I can still talk to him and I can still see him. And if we move house, he'd come with us. Whereas if he's buried in the garden, I would have to leave him behind, and that would just break my heart. So anyway, yeah, it's been tough, and I know that this is not gonna go away in the next few weeks or even the next few months. I think this is going to stay with us for a very long time. Like I said, I just want him close to us so that we can, you know, have him with his family where he's supposed to be. Anyway, but we're all okay, you know. Like I said, it comes in waves. Sometimes I have days of just absolutely just falling apart, and then other days I'm just about getting through. But I wanted to thank you all, those who, you know, follow us and have been following Chester as well, and sent lovely messages on my channel, which I'm so grateful for. I mean, it's so kind of you. They mean the world to me, and thank you so much for the support. It's very heartfelt and very much appreciated, and extremely grateful for that. So anyway, that's us updated for the moment. I don't know if you can see, I've got my little Honey with me today. She's, bless her, look, she's missing him terribly. And Henry as well. Henry's been walking around sort of like, where's Chester, and trying to find him, which absolutely breaks my heart. So I've been giving him a bit of extra fuss, and Honey as well, a bit of extra fuss. But the others seem to be managing okay, but I have been keeping an eye on them, and giving them all extra fuss, extra treats, and making a fuss of them. But it definitely affects them as well as it affects us, without a doubt. But yeah, I just think that it's going to take some time. It's definitely going to take some time. But anyway, I'll be doing another video soon once I've set up the table for Chester. I'll show you that. And I still want to have him involved in my vlogs, to do with the dogs especially. So I'm not going to stop talking about him, because I still want him to be involved. I still want to keep his memory alive, which is really important to me. And I'd still like all of you to follow us if you want to, of course. But yeah, that's the update so far. So keep in touch, and I look forward to reading your messages soon. And thank you so much again for being there for us. All the best to you all. Take care.